Welcome to this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have with us Kasia Bukowska. She is a transformational equine coach, artist, and speaker who helps people overcome emotional blocks and connects deeply with themselves through the wisdom of horses. We learn from her how horses naturally reflect our subconscious emotional wounds and unconscious behaviors, acting as living mirrors that can't lie or pretend. Welcome to the show, Kasia.
Thank you so much, AJ, for having me.
You are welcome. Welcome to the show. Welcome to India in this online form, Kasia. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of people across the globe will benefit from what we are going to talk right now. We'll learn from you about how horses can mirror our hidden emotional wounds, the importance of horses in our life, and all that we'll learn. But before that, let's learn a bit about you, Kasia, your journey, your background, so that audience knows who they are listening to.
Wonderful. Thank you. My journey is really quite long, but it mostly started when I felt like I got a nudge from the universe to move to Poland. I had fallen in love with a horse that was a yearling, actually, when I was on vacation in Poland. My dad brought me to Poland to like see my roots and everything like that. And I fell in love, but they wouldn't sell him. And you know what, 6 years later, I remember this moment that they called me and they said, "Are you still interested in that horse?" And I dropped everything and I left and I moved to Poland. I left Los Angeles. I moved to a country where I didn't speak the language. I didn't know anyone. And I really just wanted to pursue my writing career. But the universe had other plans for me, because about 2 years or less than 2 years of living in Poland, and I was moving up in my writing, I was jumping a lot, I ended up being bedridden and in a wheelchair. And the doctors told me I would never ride horses again. And that was really difficult for me because my whole life revolved around horses. And now I needed help. I needed to be fed. I needed people to wipe my butt. I couldn't do anything on my own. And so I fell into this depression. I didn't want to live, but at the same time, I literally couldn't do anything. I couldn't even get out of bed and I couldn't even act on this. And I felt like such a burden and such a failure. And my mom brought me a canvas and paint to my bed. And I had never painted before. I'd always liked drawing, but I'd never painted. And so I started practicing, like closing my fingers and trying to practice and hold this paintbrush so I could get stronger. And I did it. I started painting my pain, my emotional pain. It helped me physically. And I put it on Facebook and someone asked me how much. And I was like, oh my gosh, I could be a vegetable and I could still make money. So I got really excited and I typed in on Google how to train a horse from a wheelchair, and it's possible. And I just got like this fire under my butt and I was just like, I got to do this. If other people can do it, I can do it. And so that's really how my journey started. And also because I had no strength, I found a way to work with horses on a more spiritual, energetic, and emotional level. I literally couldn't go out and get my horse. So I had to think of a way to get him to come to me because I didn't have the strength to do that. And so I ended up spending many hours observing horses, observing my horse with other horses, which I never, ever would have done when I was, training and jumping and doing all these things. I wanted to win trophies and ribbons, and that was my priority. And here I was put in a position and literally forced to sit and observe. And that's where I learned a lot about horses and a lot about myself.
Absolutely, absolutely, Kasia. So, what do you want people to know about horses? They have heard about horses, they have seen a horse, many people have used a horse. But in terms of what you are trying to say people, especially about the emotional wounds, What is it that you want to tell people about horses and all this stuff that you have experienced?
I would like people to know that when you go, for example, for a lesson, what I see most barns do is just like the horse is all ready to go. You just get on and you have a riding lesson. But for me, the connection starts from the ground, where you can see how the individual horse moves. You can see the horse's preferences. You can get to know the horse's character, their personality, and even kind of learn about their history from the way that they behave. And, when you're on the ground with a horse, I think it can sometimes be even more intimidating than actually being on the horse, because you see how big they are. And a lot of people are intimidated by their size, that they could injure you. I would say horses are inherently gentle, sensitive, and loving. And the only reason that maybe something they might act out is because of their previous awful experiences with trainers who are demanding, who expect so much from the horse. And when someone can connect with a horse on the ground, I feel like I'm how do I put this? I sometimes have more of an adrenaline rush. I have more peace and I have more fulfillment just being around my horses rather than riding them. And so when someone is working on the horse with a ground or just around them, and for instance, with some of my clients, I say, go get a horse. And I leave it kind of open ended. How you get the horse, which horse, whatever. And we observe, and I see that maybe they're frustrated because the horse turns away from them, for instance. And the horse is mirroring exactly what you need to work on in your subconscious. It comes up, it becomes this trigger for you, and it shows you what you're ready to work on. So they don't judge you. They don't judge the wounds that you're carrying, but they literally show you exactly where they are. So this person is feeling this trigger because the horse turned away from them. So now we can go into some coaching, into some therapy, and understand, why does this hurt so much? Because when you're confident in yourself, then it's like, oh, this horse turned away from me. Okay, let me try something new. But when there's this inner wound and this horse touches that, then it hurts. And we have these negative emotions that start flooding us. And then some people, like me in the past, I started to spiral. It was like the horse turned away from me and I just kept going on with the negative snowball. So it was like, oh, well, I'm a horrible trainer. I shouldn't own horses. I should just move and disappear. Like all of that came up just from the horse turning away, because maybe there was some grass, but I took it so personally, you know?
Absolutely, absolutely. So, what is the best way to learn from a horse? And secondly, a lot of people are, they see horse, but they are not very confident of approaching a horse, and they can. And not everyone would like to know so much about a horse and still want to learn out of it. What is it, and how is it that they can learn, Kasa?
So the first thing would be to maybe chat with someone who does have experience so that you can understand their behaviors and their emotions. Because when there's this giant animal and you have no idea if the horse is going to kick you or attack you, or, oh my gosh, you've seen all of these things in the movies and how dangerous, then you're so unsure, and that fear resonates in you and the horses feel it. They're very sensitive and they can feel that. But when you can understand, oh, I see the horse's body language, I see the horse's ears, I see how the horse is carrying his neck, and I know that this horse is calm, and I understand that this horse is inviting me into their space rather than you just pushing yourself into them, in which case that can trigger a horse depending on their history, just like a person. So when you can understand, for example, when their head is low and they're relaxed, their eyes, they're blinking but really quite slowly, their ears are off to the side, they're really relaxed. And if they look at you and look back, then it's almost like an invitation, like a hello, I'm shaking your hand kind of a thing. And then, for instance, you might walk up to the horse and they might look away from you and look back. And this is like a signal from their side that I don't want any conflict. And they come back. So it's like they're constantly communicating with us. And when you know these signals and you can tap into also that energy and you can relax into it, then you can co-regulate with the horse and their heartbeat. And when you guys become in sync, it's such an amazing connection. And I feel that everyone these days really just needs to connect. We're all into doing everything online and AI and work harder, work faster, work more. It's all about work, work, work. And we're losing this connection. And having a connection with people is wonderful, but this connection with horses is really profound, because they really don't judge you. They're just there and they're present, and they don't react to like the person who you're trying to make yourself out to be to please other people. They respond to who you are right now. And so that's really beautiful.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, what have what have you learned the most from your horse? Biggest lesson that you have learned from your interactions with your horse?
You know, each of my horses has a different past, a different history, and different personalities completely. And I've learned a lot about myself, different aspects of myself through each of my horses. They bring out something different and unique in me. And one of my horses, he's had the greatest impact on me because he was very aggressive. Multiple vets told me to put him down because he would likely kill me. He was very aggressive. I had never seen such an aggressive horse, even in the movies. And so it was a challenge, but I really wanted to see if my methods and my understanding of horse emotions would work on the hardest kind of horse, this aggressive stallion. And it did. It took a few years and I learned some lessons, but honestly, what intrigued me about this horse is how he was different than other horses. Other horses, when they're scared, they tend to run away, fight or flight. And most horses choose flight and bye, and they just leave. But he was different. He never ran away. He would always fight, always fight. And so he'd jump up and rear and try to come down on you. And horses, if they kick you from the back, you fly. But if they come down on you, that's a whole different story. There's no way for you to fly away. They're here to destroy you and pummel you. And so I loved this confidence about him. I loved this power and this respect that he had for his body, because that's something that I really lacked but most of my life, really until I met him, because he helps me with understanding my anger, releasing my anger, and also finding that confidence in myself to protect myself, because I had attempted suicide multiple times, 5 times total. And the earliest time was when I was actually 6 years old. And I guess that's what attracted me to him, is just that he protected himself and he was confident. Even through the fear, even though he had fear, he was still confident, because I felt like he had this knowing within him that he's going to be okay. And I guess maybe in some ways I was jealous of that. I wanted that. I wanted to learn from him. How do I do that? And in working with him, and trying to show him that it was okay to have his emotions, it was okay to tell me, back off. Then I started thinking I can do that for myself too. I can communicate to other people, like, that makes me uncomfortable, and I don't have to bottle it all in and then explode, but I could use these same tactics that my horse is doing. And so I do that.
Absolutely, Kasia. So, can horses know about their owners' illnesses, and do they do anything for their healing on their own? do they have that much of understanding about their owners?
Yes, I truly believe they do. It's interesting when I have clients come, then I see which horses are attracted to them, which horses, and also which horses they're attracted to, even though they don't know this horse. But the energy and the frequency that they're on is attracting this specific horse because this specific horse can best teach them that lesson that their subconscious is ready to face and ready to work on. And for instance, when I'm feeling a certain way, certain horses come to the gate and they're just ready to work with me. So sometimes, most of the time, I just go out there with no intention whatsoever because I wait for the horses to choose me and to teach me. Whenever I'm feeling, me personally, that I'm getting this urge to injure myself, then it's so interesting because Brilliant, the horse that used to be an aggressive stallion, he's always the first one. He always helps me. And in the beginning, it was more comforting that he would just be there with me and breathe. And just seeing him so relaxed helped me regulate my emotions. And I was able to mirror him in that sense. So horses mirror you, but you can also mirror the horse. And so being in his presence, being in this strong, confident presence and just feeling safe with him helped me. But there are instances where I came out to him and I just had this strong urge, and I was just like, Brilliant, help me. Help me get through these emotions because I don't want to do this, but I have this automatic urge. And so it was interesting because he started nipping at me and like trying to bite me. And I was just like, who are you? Like, you're usually like so comforting. You usually like deep breaths and like you calm me down. And I started like shooing him away and I started walking away and he like almost trotted after me like he was attacking me. And I ended up leaving and I was just like, what's wrong? Is he sick? And then it came to me, it hit me. I was just like, oh my gosh. He put me in a situation where I had to protect myself. I was thinking about injuring myself and he's like, oh, you want to injure yourself? So, let me do that for you. And I was like, no, until I left. And so that was really mind-blowing for me. I really feel like horses are intuitive. Horses feel what you need and will be there to support you through it.
Absolutely. So, in a nutshell, Kasia, what is it that you want people to know about your experience with horses?
Horses are very sentient beings who can understand you on an energetic level. And getting to be around horses, even if you can't find a trainer, for instance, who knows about horse body language and signals like that, but you can get out there to take a lesson, the experience that you will have is, I would say, mind-blowing. Because the kind of empowerment that you'll feel, the kind of respect that you have for them, but then also I feel like there's a new profound respect for yourself because you can see how little you actually need to do to get this giant creature to do what you ask. And it's not about like demanding and pressure, but it's like, hey, I suggest that maybe we go a little faster, and you give a little squeeze and the horse goes. And a lot of people think you need so much strength and like a whip or something to get the horse to go. And that's not true. They're so sensitive. They can feel your intentions, your intuition. And that kind of connection is something that a lot of people are lacking. So if you have the opportunity to go ride a horse, to have that experience, to be around horses and just focus on their breathing. Look at how they breathe. Look at how their stomach goes in and out. It's just so, for me, it's just so beautiful and so magical. And they really pull you into the present moment. There's no, what do I have to do later? That's out of your head. You're in a whole new world.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, a lot of people who want to connect with you, Kasia, there's so much to learn from you about all this. I'm sure a lot of people would want to connect with you. What is the best way for them to do so?
I am very active on Instagram. So my Instagram is equestrian Kasia Bukowska. And I post all of my horse training, my mindset stuff, the lessons that I learn, the lessons that my clients learn when working with my horses. And I also do fun tricks and stuff with them. So that is that account. My art account, where I paint intuitively based on what I feel after being around my horses, is Kasia _ Bukowska _ art. I also have 2 websites. One is for my horse training and connection, and the other one is for my artwork. That would be hearthorseexperience.com for horse connection, where you can find my ebook, and I also offer some one-on-one coaching. And my horse artwork would be kasiabukowska.com.
Wonderful, wonderful. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you.